Alright, welcome back fellow adventurers to Let's Play Dragon Age 2. When we left off we were exploring Uncle Gamlen's rather modest accommodations. And I believe... yeah, last episode we basically just opened up some of the bonus items that just came with this particular purchase of the game. And now we're going to finish up talking to pretty much our whole family here. The mother is marked in particular, so we'll start with her.
My children have been in servitude for a year. They should be nobility.
If wishes were poppy, we'd all be dreaming.
This is the way things are, Mother. Gamlen can't change it now.
Your mother was supposed to marry the Comte de Launcey, and instead she ran off with some Ferelden apostate. You don't get to stay the favorite when you do that.
Where is Father's will? If I could just see for myself.
It's not here, all right? It was read, it went in the vault. No one needed to look at it again.
That seems a bit suspicious.
I know the Amels were nobility, Mother, but not much else. Why don't you ever talk about them?
The Amels have been a noble family in Kirkwall since Garahel drove out the Fourth Blight. But we've always carried magic in our blood. It's been a stain on our lineage. No family of good standing would ever marry into a line with magic. When I chose your father, I was bringing more magic into our line, not less. I think that's what hurt my parents the most.
Did Grandfather mention Mother in his will at all?
Our father died when you were still in Pinafores, girl. You can hardly expect me to remember.
Sounds like a yes to me.
I think it's time to have a look at that will.
Take me to the vault.
Can't. It's in the cellar of the estate. Someone else lives there now.
You didn't take your parents' will?
It was old news. You think I've been sitting here for 25 years waiting for Leandra to slink back?
Who bought the estate, Gamlen? Perhaps I could speak to them. Was it the Reinhardts?
No one you know. Get used to Lowtown, sister. That's where we're going to stay.
Well, from Gamlen's behavior, I'm going to just speculate at this point that there's something else going on with that will. It's not as straightforward as he says it is.
So, I hate thinking badly of family, but did Uncle Gamlen seem a little slippery when he talked about Grandfather's will? If he, say, invested money that was meant to be Mother's, do you think he would tell us?
My guess is no.
I want what's ours.
Good. I'm glad we agree. Gamlen told me he gave the estate as payment to some slaver who beat him at dice. Apparently, our ancestral home is now a base for slavers from all over Thedas.
Ooh. That hurts.
Good. Then we can break in, and I don't care if we kill them.
I already talked to both of them about this. Gamlen said they guard the front entrance well. But Mother gave me her old key. She said it should unlock the cellar. Apparently the sewers run right beneath the house.
Ooh, I don't think Hawke would be very pleased that a whole bunch of slavers have taken over her ancestral home. Alright, let's see. I think I've examined everything in here. Let's see.
I always wanted to bring you children back to meet your grandparents. Now, I wish we'd stayed in Ferelden.
And one of the nice things about Dragon Age 2 is that, unlike sometimes in Dragon Age Origins, when there was really nothing new that the character would say, it would still go into the dialogue screen. Here, if there's nothing new for the character to add, then they'll just offer some non-cinematic dialogue.
I just keep waiting for the
Like
Templars
that.
to knock on that door.
Yeah, we need to still protect Bethany from the Templars. Let's see what Gamlen has to say for himself.
Get out of my face! Your mother's bad enough. I don't need you nagging me.
Very, very grumpy is Uncle Gamlin. I'm thinking there's a chip on that shoulder. Here we have the Order runes. In other words, we can do the same thing that go to the same screen that was at the marketplace, and as we find places to order poisons and potions, they will also be accessible here at our home base. We also have the dog here.
He wasn't like this in Lothering. I think he misses the open fields.
City life not agreeing with you. Poor thing. Maybe he'd be happier if we brought him with us more often. But if he's with us, who'd keep Gamlin's debt collectors away?
Take it. I'm sick of what's-his-name staring and panting.
Gamlin, honestly, a Mabari understands what you say. Try using his name.
What's wrong with dog? Real easy to remember.
So here's where, if you do have the special dog companion package, then you get to name him. And I asked a couple videos ago if anyone had any suggestions, and I did get one. Loco. And why not? So yeah, we'll just call him Loco. See if he has anything else to say.
I'll let you sleep.
Yeah, he probably doesn't like being cooped up here. And you will be able to engage in dialogue between many of the companions and your Mabari hand throughout the story. So, as side content goes, especially for a very minor character, it's actually quite a lot of extra dialogue for him. But, okay, so we have a new quest. This is actually considered a companion quest for Bethany. You get a different focus quest if you have Carver here. Your brother survived Lothering instead of Bethany. So that's a slight variation. But before we do that, I still want to be able to finish off Aveline's quest. And let's see. Oh yeah, those quest markers keep fooling me. That's the stuff that we're going to save for later on. Those are the DLC stuff. Alright, out we go. Whenever you leave your home base, you will automatically have to re-choose your party. But we still only have 3 companions, so not much choice, actually. We'll change that pretty soon. So let's go to... Here we go, the Viscount's Keep, and we'll finish up Aveline's quest by exposing that corrupt head of the guard. We now have the evidence to take him down. Oh. Except that everyone in the world has leveled up. I think that's because we got that bonus experience points. So that does apply to the whole party. So we'll just do this really quick. Give Aveline Assault. It's quite potent. It's time to build up Bethany's offensive capabilities, so we'll give her some ice to work with. And for Varric, just I can give him a hail of arrows. That's always fun.
Good day, Sir Arthur.
Good day.
How dare you! I am guard captain! I won't be treated like this! Ferelden, bitch, this was none of your affair! I'll see you hanged, quartered! This will not stand!
We found a number of debts to suspect peoples. Such poor character. But you, Aveline Valen, have proven your loyalty and ability.
The guard deserves better than him, Messire.
Indeed. The Viscount would have you put your care for the men into direct practice. You will assume the captain's job.
What?
In due time, of course. There will be training, approvals, months at least. But who better to rebuild respect than the woman who exposed this embarrassment? Resolve any outstanding business, guardswoman. You will be very busy.
Well, that went about as well as could ever be hoped. And given the fact that there's still a lot of anti-Ferelden sentiment among the common people...
Not much room in the barracks, but there's nowhere I'd rather be.
Putting Aveline and Ferelden, some would argue a foreigner, since she's only been here for a year, in charge of the city guard is pretty impressive, actually. Okay. There's Donick. Looks like he's still recovering from his injuries that he sustained from the ambush. Here we have a shield of the Kirkwall Guard, and it comes with some codex, so we'll have a look at that. The Kirkwall City Guard. It is with pride that I, your Viscount, grant the authority of law and civil enforcement upon the guardsmen of an independent Kirkwall. No more will we defer to the will of foreign troops or draw a holy order into tasks unbefitting their mandate. These proud men and women will be of the people and will enforce the laws we have elected for a civil and ordered society. And should the specter of invasion return, the noble guardsmen will conscript from the population. For who better to amass the people's will than the constables of law charged with its inspection? This is a great day, fair Kirkwall, and I am honored to appoint the first guard captain. Long may he serve the will of a free people. From Orlesian Legacy, how institutions of the oppressors linger, the speeches of the Viscount Michel Lafayette. Oh boy. Lafayette? I can't pronounce that. Collected by Philium, a bard. So the city guard was created specifically so that neither a foreign occupying army nor the Templars would have supreme law enforcement capability. Which sounds like a good idea to me. Okay, now of course Aveline has the quest marker over her. That means that you can follow up on the outcome of her recent companion quest, and this can happen with many of the companions. And we will do that eventually, but like I said before, my main objective is first to gather the whole party together, so that's what I'm going to do. And basically we have one piece of outstanding business right now, and that is that way back in just outside of Lothering, our lives were saved by Flemeth in return for a promise that we would take an amulet to the keeper of some Dalish elves that are camped outside the city. So that's what we're going to do next, because it's been about a year now and we still haven't kept that promise. And probably not best to double-cross a Witch of the Wilds. We've learned that before in the previous game. So, let's head outside and go to Sundermount, which is where they're camped. And on our way up, there are two places here where it says the duty quest is marked. So these are two places where the mercenaries that attacked Sebastian's and killed Sebastian's family are hiding out. So on our way up, we'll stop at the Wounded Coast and take care of some of these mercenaries. Now, we were in kind of a small side area of this larger area when we helped Aveline with the ambushed guard patrol. But this is the main area of what's called the Wounded Coast. And it is, in fact, just a long stretch of very rocky coastline, I believe along the Waking Sea. There's a bunch of junk here.
A Ferelden in the guard. What will they think of next?
You have a problem with that?
Me? My family's not native either. I'm just surprised. A lot of old prejudice in the guard.
I'll give them plenty of reason to change their minds.
You know, it's possible they're just scared shitless of you. That's my theory, anyway.
Could very well be. And even with, if you haven't explored a certain area of the map, the quest, the place where you need to be for a quest is still marked. So you can still go in the very general direction that you need to go. Which is nice. Here we have our first crafting resource that we'll be able to use. Spindleweed. It's an old country saying that spindleweed grows best for the sorrowful. Verdant spindleweed in a household's garden has often brought neighbors offering consolation, usually without even asking what might be wrong. This originates from the plant's use as a seasoning for dishes meant to speed the recovery of the infirm. A person who grows much of it is likely caring for the fatally ill. An excerpt from the Botanical Compendium by Inez Arancia, botanist. And this is a nice little reference to the woman, the botanist mage who we rescued, or at least sought out, I guess I should say, in Dragon Age Awakening. Hello, mercenaries.
Go down! Somebody! Help me! Before anyone else. How about you?
Okay. Viel's Locket. Megan Viel's Locket. Okay, so these mercenaries not only killed Sebastian's family, but they basically looted their corpses.
Is everyone all right?
Let's see. Yep, this is Flint Company. People we're supposed to take out. Simple lock chest. And some junk and some cash. I think that's it. I often won't be fully exploring a lot of these areas simply because we will be returning to them numerous times, and so in the end we will end up exploring the whole thing. But no need to do so right off the bat. Now up to the very top of the largest mountain in the local area, Sundermount. Looks like another Flint Company camp is over here.
That's enough! Gotcha!
One more. You can see every time we take one out, they update our quest log. And I think that Flint Company armor may be something that I can wear. So let's have a look. Yes, it is, but I'm going to need 20 dexterity. That said, though, what I do have gives a lot more critical damage and chance of hitting. That's a trade up there. There's a lot of resistance from fire and cold. That's not too bad. I'll put that on. And let's give this rain to Aveline, because she's the tank. She needs all the health that she can get. I think there's another crafting ingredient somewhere. There it is. Okay. Elf root. Let's see what this is. Elf root was first used by the elves of Arlathon. Can't pronounce words today. Hence its name. The root gave the medicines particular efficiency. Jeez. So when the Imperium conquered the elves, the Magisters adopted its use, and its popularity spread to all corners of the Empire. Elfroot is a hardy plant with large green leaves that grows wild in many places. It's so common that it tends to show up in most gardens and fields, almost like a weed. Unlike a weed, however, most people appreciate having access to the wonderful little plant. The roots can be used with very little preparation. Rubbing some of the juice on a wound, for example, will speed up healing and numb pain. And chewing on a slice of the root treats minor ailments like indigestion, flatulence, and hoarse throats. There are several varieties, but the most useful for herbalists is the bitter, gossamer, and the royal elf roots. And that's, again, by Inez. And here's the Dalish camp just up here.
Old Shemlin, your kind are not welcome among the Dalish.
What's a Shemlin?
An elven slur for human.
It means you're not one of the people, and you should leave now.
So friendly.
Who are you people?
We are the last of the Elven.
Keep that in mind, Hawke. Elves you see elsewhere, figments of your imagination.
They have given up their identity to live among Shemlin. They're elven no more.
A little bit of a superiority complex here among these elves.
I was given an amulet for someone named Marathari.
How do you know that name?
Wait, this is the one the Keeper spoke of.
A Shemlin? I thought she'd be an elf.
Enter the camp. Keeper Marathari has been waiting for you.
Cause trouble, and you'll meet our blades, stranger.
Marathari? I was told to bring you this amulet.
Andaran Atishan, travelers. Indeed, I am Keeper Marathari. Let me look at you. There's truth in your face. A rare thing in a human. Tell me how this burden fell to you, child.
Your guard said you spoke of me. How did you know I was coming?
I listened. To the wind, to the birds, as the hunters do, to my dreams. I watched the stars. There is great wisdom to be found all around us, if you know how to listen for it. But I was not certain. Nothing is certain.
Are you the leader of these Dalish? Why did the witch tell me to bring this amulet to you?
I am the keeper of this clan. It is my task to guide my people and to ensure the old ways are not forgotten. As for Asha Belenar, I am tied to her, just as you are, by a debt that must be repaid.
Interesting. And, just in case you weren't sure, if you chose the Dalish elf origin for the original game, then this will be almost like a homecoming to you as a player, because this is the same tribe who you were from. But I'm not quite sure what the debt is that she's alluding to Flemeth. I'm not sure if it's something that happened after the Origin game began, or something that happened before.
Exactly what have I been carrying around? Is it magic?
It is a promise, child. Made by one whose word still has weight. And therefore, it has terrible power. There are few things in this world stronger than a promise kept. Remember that.
This amulet's owner rescued my family from the Blight. In return, I agreed to bring it to you.
I honor you for coming to me. But I'm afraid your part in this is not done yet. The amulet must be taken to an altar at the top of the mountain, and given a Dalish rite for the departed. Then, return the amulet to me. Do this and your debt will be repaid.
Are you going to teach me this rite for the departed?
I will send my first with you. She will see to it the ritual is done. And when it is complete, I must ask that you take her with you when you go.
Who is your first? First of what?
Your people would call her my apprentice, or heir. Merrill would have taken my place as keeper. But she has chosen a new path. Please, guide her safely from here.
That seems a little odd.
It is her wish, and I must grant it. You will find Merrill waiting for you on the trail just up the mountain. Dareth Shiral.
Are you busy? No, of course not. Not too busy.
All right. Truly an odd request from a Dalish elf to be brought
my aim is
out of the clan and to a human city, but if that's what we have to do to keep our promise, then I guess we're stuck with it. Here we have the Valaslin blood writing, and this is what the Dalish refer to their various tattoos that you see on all their faces. After my encounter with the Dalish elves on the road to Navarra, I studied every book on the elves that I could find. I sought out legends and myths and history and tried to make sense of it all. But there is only so much one can learn from books. I knew that in order to truly understand the Dalish, I would have to seek them out. A dreadful idea in hindsight. In my defense, I was young, and also inebriated when the idea popped into my head. Unfortunately, even after I regained some measure of sobriety, the idea still held appeal. It proved remarkably resistant to my attempts to ignore it. I gave in after months of that nagging thought at the back of my head and set out to learn about the Dalish firsthand. I tramped through the forest bordering Orlais for weeks before I found, or was found by, a Dalish hunter. I stumbled into one of his traps and suddenly was hanging from a tree with a rope around my ankles. So there I was, defenseless, upside down with my robe over my head, my underclothes on display. Descriptions of my predicament might elicit laughter these days, but trust me when I say I was in a situation I would not wish on anyone. Thankfully, my ridiculous appearance may have caused my captor to stay his hand. What threat did a silly human with his pants showing? And so he sat, made a small fire, and began to skin the deer he had caught. I soon mustered the courage to speak. I tried to assure him that I was not there to harm him, but he laughed at this and replied that if I were a threat to harm him, I had failed terribly. Eventually we got to talking, and when I say talking, I meant that I asked him questions and occasionally he would deign to answer. He told me that while some Dalish actively seek out human travelers to rob or frighten, most of his people would rather be left alone. He seemed to believe that punishing the humans for past actions only led to more violence. I asked him about the intricate tattoos on his face. He told me that they were called Valasin, blood writing. His were symbols of Anduril the Huntress, one of the most highly revered elven goddesses. He said the Dalish mark themselves to stand out from humans, and from those of their kin who have chosen to live under human rule. He said the Valasin remind his people that they must never again surrender their beliefs. When he finished skinning the deer, he cut me down. By the time I had righted myself and conquered the dizziness of all the blood rushing out of my head, he was gone. I do not recommend that my readers seek out the Dalish for themselves. I was very lucky to have met the man that I did, and to have walked away from our meeting unscathed. Perhaps the Maker watches over those who seek knowledge with an open heart. I certainly would like to think so. And that entry is another one from Brother Jenna TV.
A Shemlin. Will wonders never cease?
Watch your steps, Shem. You don't know how many Dalish arrows are trained on you right now.
I really wish you'd stop using those slurs around me. Let's be more sensitive here. Ah, there's some random
Shem.
loot.
Wonderful. Your business here quick.
Couldn't you talk to him for me, please?
He doesn't bite, Paul. Just tell him you made a mistake.
I ruined a piece of ironwood. That's not a mistake to Master Island. That's like committing murder.
At least it's not a hanging offense. You can do this. Be brave.
Oh, ironwood is pretty rare.
Shemlin. Wonderful. Make your business here quick.
Okay, we have... There's Master Island. And this is actually a shopkeeper's place, very much like any other, except that there are a few items that you can only find here and not in the city. Although I don't think any of them will currently help us out right now. Although there is some stuff I can go ahead and sell off just because it's not particularly useful. Yeah, I want to keep that one. Don't need any extra bows. At least not right now. And I don't need these simple daggers either. Or these. Nature runes. Oh, I'm going to have to sell off my junk. There we go. Actually, before I do any more business, let's actually check some of the other items here. Much better shield here for Aveline, and also a much better sword. Better staff for Bethany, which has a human skull on the top of it. I always thought that was a little creepy for her to be carrying around, but whatever. Okay, now let's sell off some more junk here. Okay. Also, keep in mind that this is Sir Wesley's shield, what Aveline starts off with. I would recommend that you do not sell it. Just because there is some possible dialogue later on that Aveline will have if you do sell it, and it's not very pretty. So... I forgot to do it last time, but it's best to just take it and put it in your storage and not sell it.
Don't hold the chisel like that. You'll cut off your thumb.
Yes, Master Island.
I wish you would.
If either of us is likely to cut themselves, it's you.
That's enough. More working, less talking.
I'm starting to understand maybe why Meryl wants to leave this clan. Everyone is at each other's throats, it seems.
I am Master Island, a crafter for this clan. Forced to stay so close to this Shemlin city, I've seen my share of outsiders pass through our camp. Is there something you needed?
Are you a specialist? What sort of things do you make?
A Dalish crafter does many things. We create weapons, armor, anything our clan has need of.
I don't need anything right now.
Of course.
Okay, we need to go this way to meet Meryl, I'm assuming.
Oh, I didn't hear. You must be the one the Keeper told me about. Anethera. I'm so sorry. I didn't ask your name. Unless... It's not rude to ask a human their name, is it? I'm Meryl, which you probably knew already. I'm rambling, sorry.
We didn't get a proper introduction.
I am... or was, I suppose. The first to keep a Marathari. I've studied the old ways for as long as I can remember. I know things. The law of the Dalish that can help us get to the summit of Sundermort.
Why are you leaving the Dalish for Kirkwall?
I have to. Let's leave it at that for now, all right?
I get the feeling you're in trouble.
It's not like that. Not exactly, anyway. The Keeper and I have disagreements, but it will sort itself out in time.
Sounds intriguing.
Did you hear that strange noise?
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
She's not a very good liar.
You seem awfully nervous.
I've never met a human before. Dalish mothers frighten their children with stories about you, you know. Not you, personally, of course. I'm sure they don't have any tales about you. Or not scary ones, at least. Not that you're not notable enough to have a story. I'll just shut up now.
Some people get annoyed by Meryl, but I find her very funny and endearing.
My name is Hawke. Glad to make your acquaintance, Meryl.
Thank you. I'm afraid I'm not very experienced with your kind. The Keeper said you came from Ferelden. I spent most of my life there. We only came north a few years ago. Have you been in the Free Marches long? Do you like it here?
Oh, I miss the cold. And the dirt. Kirkwall's not brown enough for me. But hey, no Darkspawn.
Ferelden wasn't that brown. The dirt and muck gave it character. We should go. Your task is for Asher Bellinar. It's not wise to make her wait.
What do we have to do with the amulet?
It's a funeral of sorts. I'll perform it when we get to the mountaintop. Getting there is the tricky part. Our hunters haven't been able to reach the summit. Dark things are about.
I smell a dungeon crawl.
I take it you've been expecting me to bring this amulet for some time.
The Keeper brought us here to wait for you. I don't know much more than that. I do know that you have Asher Bellinar's amulet. And we must bring it to the altar on the mountaintop. Nothing more.
That's interesting. You can tell that Flemeth must have a lot of sway, at least with this particular clan of Dalish, because if they've been waiting here for us, that means they've been camped out of Kirkwall for over a year. And I believe that's very unusual for Dalish elves to be camped in one place for that long.
Do you know the witch who sent me here?
No, not personally. My people tell stories of her, though. You're very lucky. Most people who meet Asher Bellinar wind up in little pieces, hanging from the trees.
Flemeth seems to have a temper occasionally.
Let's get this over with.
Very much like a daughter of hers. Okay. So let's get going here. Oh yay, corpses from the ground. Dark things are about indeed. You can see that many of the enemies, even the ones who look very much alike will have different sizes of health bars. So often can be useful to quickly take out a lot of the smaller, weaker enemies before concentrating on the larger ones.
The Keeper didn't mention you were a mage.
All keepers know a bit of old magic. The stories tell us that all Elven once had the gift. But like so many things, it was lost. It's a keeper's job to remember, to restore what we can.
Can't demons possess Dalish mages?
It can happen. And when it does, the clan must hunt and kill their own keeper.
Yikes.
Does the Chantry know about the Dalish mages?
Oh, they know. Keeper Marathari told me that was one of the reasons we never camped too long in one place. They usually won't pursue us if we stay away from the cities and towns and keep moving.
And no one minds having to pick up and move over and over just to protect a few of you?
Why would they mind? Once we've picked over a hunting ground, there's no reason to stay. But my clan is now in more danger, having lost our Hala.
If you go to Kirkwall, you'll be an apostate in a city full of Templars.
I know. But if I don't go to Kirkwall, I'll be alone. A solitary elf is easy prey for anyone. In the city, I can get lost in the crowd.
So it seems if she stays here, the clan would leave her behind.
I'm glad you decided to pitch in back there.
Oh, you're welcome. I wasn't sure I'd be much good. I've done a little fighting before, but it was always alone. I'll try not to hit anyone. On our side, I mean. I'm babbling again. Let's go.
Got an injury kit there. If one of your party is basically KO'd when they lose all their hit points, they will, very much similar to the Dragon Age Origins game, they will get a semi-permanent effect called an injury that will affect something, either keeping their health low or their mana or stamina low. So injury kits will basically undo that permanent damage if you use one on a character. Just can't have a mountain stroll without skeletons popping up on it. Huh. The skeleton doesn't appear to want to die. There we go. Let's see, any loot? No? Well, that's disappointing. You can see there's a whole lot of mist hugging the ground. Just adds to the ambiance.
So the Keeper finally found someone to take you from here.
Yes.
Then finish your task quickly, human. We cannot be rid of this one too soon.
I'm sensing a story here.
I have made my choice. And I will save our clan whatever you think.
Sundermount seems very mountainous today, doesn't it? Lots of rock and hillside.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Let's go. We should hurry.
Awkward. Well, this seems to be why... Well, at least the source of some of the problem. There's a rock slide that prevents a more direct way up to the summit, it looks like.
A landslide blocked the path. There's a cave that should take us to the other side.
There's another elf root here. Not only do you should be clicking on all of the crafting materials you can find, because sometimes you need multiple instances of a certain ingredient. But also, every time you find a new crafting source on the map, you do get experience points for it. So there's at least that.
I'm sorry. You're not really seeing the Dalish at their best. We're good people that look out for each other. Just not today, apparently.
Is there anything I can do to help?
It's kind of you to ask. I'm fine. Even if my people don't appreciate my efforts, I must see this through. Let's go. Asha Belenar isn't known for her patience.